Hey, Red Wings Hockey, how are you? As you step in, make sure to hit the like button. I truly appreciate that as you step in. You see the goal. Um, if you're able to do, it would be very appreciated. It's not necessary, but it would definitely be appreciated. You see tonight's topic. This is a real tragedy about Nolan Wells. Um, I'm going to talk about it, and I will bring you up to speed about the latest, because one of the friends is contradicting the family's claim about the video, and I will get to that. But let me first start from the beginning here when it comes to Nolan Wells. Because one of the friends is disputing what's happening. Now, here's the latest information that I have, and this is from People Magazine. And once again, as you step in, make sure to hit the like button. Hey, pretty brown eyes, how are you? Thank you for joining. Trayston Shepard is sharing his account of Wells' mysterious final hours, defending himself and the others on the 4th of July trip in Mississippi. As you know, this is what happened. Okay, let me start from the beginning. Just a moment. One of the friends who says he was with Nolan Wells during a 4th of July trip to Mississippi's Horn Island before the team was found dead is now speaking out about some of what he saw, as Wells' family has called for answers about what happened, and rightfully so. In an interview that aired earlier today on Good Morning America, Trayston Shepard told ABC News that he and the other young people who were on the trip have been devastated by Wells' death, while also facing intense public scrutiny in the days since. I just know I lost my best friend, Shepard said. The interview comes as authorities continue investigating. Wells, an 18-year-old football player, appeared to vanish from Horn Island after heading there with a group of friends for a bustling celebration on July 4th. His body was found in the water near the island's northwest end 2 days later. While law enforcement has said they believe Wells may have drowned and have not found evidence of foul play, they are still awaiting autopsy results and continuing to renew evidence, including videos and witness statements. Wells' family is doing their own independent probe and autopsy. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter previously told ABC News that Shepard and the other teens who were on the trip have cooperated with investigators. In his interview on GMA, Shepard declined to appear on camera, saying he and his friends have received threats online. We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind us, he said. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short. In a separate interview, Shepard also told Rolling Stone magazine that he decided to go public after giving officials his account of what happened because he wanted to push back on the rampant speculation surrounding the case. Rolling Stone said 2 others corroborated Shepard's account. His uncle also spoke with ABC News. I'm tired of speculation, of not being able to talk. It's time for somebody to start speaking up, Shepard told Rolling Stone in an interview published on Sunday, July 12th, which was yesterday. I'm not just hurting because of Nolan. I'm also hurting because I call my friends, and you can hear it in their voice, that they're terrified of what these people will do to them is gone completely way too far. Both interviews addressed the viral video that the Wells family attorney previously indicated captured their son during a confrontation before his disappearance. Shepard corrected that, saying on GMA that a voice heard shouting in the clip belongs to him. "That's me yelling," he said. He also gave the same account to Rolling Stone, telling the magazine that Wells was not shown in the video. Turning to the group's final hours with Wells, Shepard said on GMA that the team remained on Horn Island after meeting a young woman earlier that day while the others returned to the mainland by boat. "They met that day, and it's kind of one of those things," Shepard said. He did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they ever hung out was at Horn Island on July 4th. His comments echo what Ledbetter has previously said investigators were told by witnesses, that Wells chose to stay behind with the expectation of returning later with another group. However, Wells's family has questioned that account. During an interview on GMA last week, his parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, said they could not understand why their son would have voluntarily separated from his friends, saying he had always been taught to stay with the group. They also wondered what happened to Wells' cell phone amid his disappearance. Christine told GMA, "Hey, 23 Jackson Street, how are you? And thank you for joining." Christine told GMA that his phone was recovered after a friend tracked it using an app, and his location history appeared inconsistent with what friends had reported seeing through Snapchat. In Monday's report, ABC News noted that investigators have requested the cell phone, but have not yet received it from the family. The Wells attorney, Ben Crump, told the network they intend to turn it over. Shepard said, according to ABC, that Wells had left his phone in a boat, along with many others, because he would be spending so much time in the ocean. Hey, Mr. Carruthers, how are you? And thank you, 23 Jackson Street. Shepard also said on GMA that he hopes that attention will return to remembering the sweet friend he lost. "I get that everybody wants justice for Nolan," he told Rolling Stone through tears. "Everybody wants to know exactly what happened. Will we ever know? I want everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan," Shepard insisted on GMA, adding, "I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown." That was the latest today. Now, as you know, Tyler Perry reached out to pay for the family's funeral. Colin Kaepernick reached out to pay for the autopsy, if I'm not mistaken. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the family of Nolan Wells wants his body examined by their own expert, as the attorney claims the info does not add up. And let me read that information to you as well. And once again, make sure to hit the like button on the way in. Oh, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Thank you for the like and the share. Attorney Ben Crump has publicly questioned the investigation. Now, this was done on Thursday, and claims witnesses gave conflicting accounts of Nolan Wells' plans before he disappeared. Yes, it is definitely a lot going on. And this reminds me of the Shanquell Robinson thing remember when they went to Cabo in Mexico and how the so-called friends treated them. And we have to know, and see, when you're 18 years old, you don't know the difference sometimes between friends and acquaintances. Those sound like acquaintances. And I do have questions myself, but I want to read these stories first before I come to my conclusion. Well, I can't really say conclusion because we are still going to find out more. The party was on the 4th, 23 Jackson Street. And here's the need to know part. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18, was found dead 2 days after going on a July 4th trip with friends to Horn Island off the coast of Mississippi. You said he was not killed on the 4th. He was found dead 2 days later. We really don't know whether he was killed on the 4th, 5th, or 6th because he was found dead 2 days later. He could have been killed on the 4th. We have no idea. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter had said Wells's friends were cooperating. Just a moment. Hey, Stumptown, how are you? In fact, let me read this. And thank you for joining me. Grand evening, Uncle Claude, mods and chat. When given the time, could you please discuss the mother always grinning and bucking her eyes and the parent stating that race played no role in his demise? Stumptown, I'm glad you mentioned that. I am extremely glad that you mentioned that. And we know the terrible history of Mississippi. And I've never been there. I have family that's been in that area. There are a couple of places that I do not want to go in the United States. One of them is Mississippi. The other one is Alabama. But I digress. Now, you said he made it back on the boat and went to a party. Yeah, that was the July 4th party. And if you heard, I don't know if you saw if you heard me earlier, Stompdown, the other friend was saying that he decided to stay back with a girl. Now, I don't know how true that is, especially after the parents said that he was always taught to stay in the group. Now, we all know that kids don't always listen to what their parents say, especially at 18 years old. You know, well, let's face it. We all at one time were 18, and when we were teenagers, especially high age teenagers, I will say from 17 to 19, we all think that we know everything and we don't know diddly. But I digress. That was after the island. Hold on. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter has said Wells's friends were cooperating with the investigation and that it appears he had chosen to stay on the island longer than his friends. Wells's family has retained prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who has publicly questioned the investigation and said witnesses have given conflicting accounts of Wells' plans before he disappeared. You said they have a pic at a pool party. In fact, you know what? There were a couple of pictures, and if I can get a hold of them, I will show them. And of course, that will be for educational purposes only. The family of an 18-year-old Excuse me, just a moment. The family of an 18-year-old student athlete who was found dead after a July 4th boat trip to an island off the Mississippi coast will commission an independent autopsy, according to their attorney, who has expressed concerns about how the investigation into his death has been handled. Nolan Xavier Wells traveled by boat with friends to Horn Island on July 4th, but did not return with them that afternoon, according to Brian Trosker, National Vice President and spokesman for the United Cajun Navy, which helped search for him. After Wells failed to return home that night, his mother reported him missing. Following a multi-agency search, his body was recovered Monday. Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lind previously confirmed to People that Wells was positively identified through dental records the following day. The cause and manner of his death remained under investigation. Let me read this as well. Stomp Down says the current crop of FBAs have lost their edge/fear. They think they're removed from what was fought for and are allowed, in my opinion, to exist freely. Unfortunately, we will lose many more. Stomp Down. I do think there is a lot of that. Unfortunately, this younger generation is far removed from Generation X. And I don't know how old you are, Stomp Down. I think you said that you were in your 60s. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I will be 57 in September, God willing. And this generation is far removed from my generation. We were the generation of Brand Nubian. I mean, we grew up with the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I mean, we were teenagers in the 80s and early 90s. We were the 18 to 24-year-olds. And we had, because that's when rap music was rap music. In fact, it was really more hip hop than rap. This is crap music. It's not even rap anymore. It's crap. We had more diversity than this generation. This generation here figures, oh, well, see, they drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak. Because when you hear fools like Tim Scott and Cam Newton, because Cam Newton used to say that too when he was the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. That's why sometimes I don't even want to hear what he says when he talks about, oh, I went through racism. You tried to convince millions of young black people that there was no more racism. When I hear Tim Scott say that, listen, this is why you have clowns. This is why people like President Trump can do the whitewashing that they're doing right now and try to change history. Because you have raccoons that want to sweep it under the rug like it doesn't exist, knowing darn well that too many of our people died in the civil rights movement. And unfortunately, this country, racism is as American as apple pie. It just is. It's the truth. I mean, I know it's an uncomfortable truth, but it's the truth. And until we face it head on, this is going to continue to happen. And see, we have a bogus Black Panther Party who really, if you want to say it's some of our fault as well, we have to bear some responsibility because of the simple fact Some of us have not passed on the information that needed to be passed on. Like these so-called street gangs were originally offshoots of the Black Panther Party. Instead of killing each other, which we are doing now, the Bloods and the Crips were originally offshoots of the Black Panther Party and were supposed to protect the neighborhoods, not ravage the neighborhoods with drugs and gang bang and all that garbage. But because they don't know their history, we all know the old saying, those who fail to know their history are doomed to repeat it. And this is exactly what happened. And you have this young man who, and listen, he stands out like a sore thumb. He thought that he was safe. He thought, oh, this can't happen to me. And unfortunately, it did. Now, we don't know. Now, for all we know, that could be a cover-up, him saying, oh, he met this girl. Well, where's the girl? Because I have several questions as well. Now, I'm with you. The mother comes off as trying to please both sides, trying to come off apologetic, like, oh, well, we don't want to make this. If it is that, it is that. You just want a fair and honest investigation. You should not have to apologize for wanting the truth. Some of our people drive me crazy with that. They absolutely drive me crazy. Oh, you're 58 and a half. Oh, so you got me by a year and a half. Hey, Room Shaker, how are you? Like I said, I didn't want to put words in your mouth, and thank you for correcting me. Oh, don't get me started with those people that failed us as people. Let's face it. Now, some of that is our fault too. We shouldn't be looking for politicians to lead us anyway, because we all know that leadership, when it comes to leadership, 9 times out of 10, that never comes from politics. The Adam Clayton Powell Jr.'s of the world are long gone. Listen, we had a so-called black president that did not even want to talk reparations. But of course, he wasn't FBA. He was not a foundational Black American. Remember, his father was Kenyan and his mother was Caucasian. So he had no idea. And remember, he was reared in Hawaii before going to Columbia here in New York. He couldn't be any further away from the experience of blacks here in America. Couldn't be any further away from it. But because many of us thought we would never see a black president in our lifetime, we got hoodwinked. But I digress. And thank you all for bearing with me this evening. Just a moment. On Tuesday, Chancery Judge Ashley Cole, whose son was with Wells on July 4th, said in a lengthy statement that her son Warren, quote, loved Nolan dearly, unquote, and had already been interviewed by the sheriff's department. Cole said Warren last saw Wells around 3 p.m. local time on July 4th, and that the rest of the group left Horn Island around 4:30 p.m. because the boat he was on began taking in water after experiencing problems with its bilge pump. In her statement, Cole said that Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. How do I find that? I find that a little hard. See, if you all leave together, we all come back together. That I find a little shaky, but I digress. Stomp Down says, remember, he said Trayvon Martin could have been his son, and they made him shut his mouth shortly of that statement. Yes, you are absolutely right about that. Yeah, the gang spurned from trying. Yes, that's the original. That was the original premise of the gangs. In fact, there is a documentary called Bastards to the Party. I recommend that you guys watch it. Very informative. Very informative. I don't remember saying hoodwink, but I said that something does not sound right. But I digress. Did you notice how all of his black friends didn't support him and all of them talked and behaved as young white men? Well, that goes again to they don't think it can happen to them. They are so far away from the civil rights movement. Now, I understand the civil rights movement really didn't benefit us, so to speak. Let's face it, the white woman and everybody else benefited from the civil rights movement a lot more than we did. But who catches all the blame? We do. But that's another chapter in another book. However, prominent civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who is representing Wells's family, claims witnesses have been given conflicting accounts of Wells' plans before he disappeared. Crump said in an interview on Wednesday with ABC News that a girl Wells had been talking to that day claimed that Nolan said he was going back to the boat, while his friends have said that Nolan told them he was going to stay with her. Okay, just a moment. I will drop the link. Just give me a minute. Which is it, Crump said. All we know that Nolan is dead. Crump also expressed concern that the sheriff's department believes there is no evidence of foul play. According to Crump, witnesses recorded a video that allegedly shows Wells arguing with another person before he disappeared. Additionally, he questioned why Wells would not keep his cell phone if he intended to remain on the island. Of course, he would definitely have to keep his cell phone because he would have to contact his friends, correct? Crump said that Wells' friends took his cell phone when they left, and by the time his family got it back, messages had been allegedly deleted, though Crump did not provide further details. Hold on, hey, the Queen before you, how are you? That's not adding up, Crump told ABC News. Is very concerning to them. Hold on, let me try and drop the link here. And here is the link. If anyone wants to come up. Crump did not immediately respond to people's request for comment on Thursday. Well, that was last Thursday, July 9th. Wells attended Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he played on the football team. On Wednesday, the sheriff said in a statement that, quote, a significant amount of information, speculation, and commentary has been shared on social media and throughout the community about the case. He urged the public to, quote, refrain from spreading unverified information that could hinder investigative efforts, unquote. Ledbetter, who has not responded to people's request for comment since Tuesday, asked that anyone on or near Horn Island on July 4th contact the sheriff's office if they had any interactions with sightings of or statements regarding Wells. This includes anyone who took photos or videos on the northwest tip of the island that day where Wells had been, or who observed or heard an argument, disturbance, or other unusual activity while on the island. The investigation remains active, and Ledbetter said, quote, investigators are working to establish the facts through eyewitnesses' accounts, physical evidence, and other reliable information, unquote. Crump has scheduled a news conference with Wells' parents for Friday afternoon at the National Astro Network's headquarters in Harlem. And that's pretty much it. Now, as I mentioned before, Tyler Perry is helping to cover the cost of the funeral. Hold on a moment. I believe that is, yep, it is. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Uncle Claude. You can go ahead with finish your commentary.
In fact, I'm just about done.
Okay.
A source close to Perry shares with people that Tyler saw the story and reached out to the family. In a statement, Perry said he was moved to act because of his own experiences. You know, Tyler Perry, I have to say, I'm not going to say I'm shocked, because he has done that in the past, and that's very, very good of him. And also, what has come out, Colin Kaepernick, you know, everybody likes to bash him, but he's paying for the independent autopsy, which is equally as important, in Washington, D.C. These were just regular parents going about their life, Crump told reporters of the Wells family. As a son of the South and a person who to this day questions the death of my nephew in a Louisiana prison, and as an advocate who has been fighting for years to get answers for Marcia Williams about what happened to her son Terrence in Florida, I know what it's like to not have answers that loved ones so desperately needs, he said, referring to the other cases of mysterious deaths. The agony is debilitating, the filmmaker and actor, who's now 56, oh wow, same age, added, it is my hope that Nolan's parents and all who knew and loved him get the truth of what happened in Mississippi. Wells's body was recovered on Monday, July 6th, off of Horn Island, the barrier island where he was last seen with a group of friends on the afternoon of the 4th of July, according to the United Cajun Navy. I did mention that already. First of all, let me put an end to that. Those were not his friends, okay? Especially when you're young like that, you very rarely know the difference between friends and acquaintance. But I digress. Let me read this. You said the island had no running water or shelter. Who would want to stay behind on an island you can't wash up on? I agree. I totally agree with you on that. Okay, Mr. Carruthers, I'm pretty much done with that now.
Well, good evening, people there in the audience and everybody. Thank you for coming up, listening to some enlightening, a story that I've been following. And like I said, we're doomed to repeat ourselves, not only in life, but in history sometimes. Everybody knows about Mississippi. Everybody knows that the things that go on in Mississippi, especially in those towns where they still have the sundown law in. We as Blacks, we want to live around those kind of areas and be in those kind of areas. And I don't care how modern or up to date everybody is on life and everything, there is racial prejudice that still goes on. And if you don't believe it, just look at some of the other cases. You even got a case of a 1-year-old child being life taken because of a shoplifting incident in another Mississippi.
I've heard of that too. In fact, I am
Yeah.
following that. I will do an upload on that maybe tomorrow. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
Sorry to cut you.
what I'm saying is that don't be surprised when things like this happen, because the younger generation, and when I speak of younger generations, I mean people that are 50 years younger than I am. Oh, there's my call. Oh, hold on, Uncle Claude. Let me tell her I'm up here
No
with you.
problem. No problem. Trust me, it happened. This happened to me on so many occasions, Mr. Carruthers. Hey, Dr. Manhattan, how are you? You might not be a partner for me. Depends on, trust me, sometimes with me it's hit or miss as well, Dr. Manhattan. I get it. Good to see you in the chat. Good to see you in the chat. And I hope that you had a good day. And listen, you have to do what you have to do, sir. You know what? Stop down. I'm glad you wrote that. The cop that took that, you know what, fear for his life. What was he going to hit him with a rattle? You know what? I'm so sick of these so-called cops. And this is where I spell cops with a KKK. These guys have more gadgets than a Batman's utility belt and are scared to death. It's insane. Yeah, I have to, you know what? I have to also get a couple hours too while Mama Bolton is getting her rest. I have to time that because she'll be up in a couple hours and I'll be up till about 6 or 7 this morning. So I understand completely. And you sleep well, young man. And obviously not all cops are like this, but unfortunately there's too many of them that are. That's the problem.
Okay, sorry, Uncle Claude, I'm back.
No need to apologize. No need to apologize at all. Trust me, that happens. That's happened to me so many times. But go ahead, sir.
But and like I was saying, we're all sitting up here questioning things and looking at things. And I go back to the civil rights era and the things that we had to do in order to get that law passed. And like you said, the gangs back then were not gangs to be selling drugs or anything. They were there to protect the neighborhoods from the people that would come in and bring the drugs. But like I said, money is people can say what they want to say about money, but money will make you act funny. Okay, we're not going to talk about it being evil or anything else. But when you can give a poor person money and give him an assignment, they will go off and do it, even to their own people. That's like I said before, people, if they realize that everything that's written down about us or to us wasn't written by a black man, it was written by the white man. Even some of the stuff that we actually done as goodness out of our hearts, the story was changed around. So don't be surprised when you hear stuff like this and you read stuff like this. Just remember who's writing it, who's controlling the press, who's controlling the news media itself. Because like I said, we used to have all that kind of stuff, newspaper reporters and all that good stuff. Very slim pickings now. Very slim pickings for as far as radio goes, broadcasting the news with black people that did the news back then. A radio station out of Chicago, WVON. Matter of fact, even BET, which was supposedly once black entertainment, has turned into that phallus. And when I think of you talking about Barack Obama, you just remember it was the newspaper that always called him a black president. They never referred to him as this or that. It didn't come out until later that when we go back in and then we get mad at him about the reparations should have been even before Obama got here.
So I understand. Hold on. I understand that. Hold on. In fact, no, go ahead. I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm just so tired of us downing our own black people in general, regardless to where they came from, unless the news media says it's okay or not okay. Everybody endorsed Obama. Everybody was crazy about him. Why? As black people, he had the skin tone. You understand what I'm saying? Regardless to where he came from, he had our skin tone. So that made us proud at one time. But when you start getting the other people, the candidates back in the day, people like, and I'll say his name, Donald Trump, talking about Trump and doing this, we forget about all this crazy stuff he did and the stuff that he did even before Obama got there, even after he got elected with the New York Five. But everybody wants to put him up on a pedestal about stuff like that. So no, I'm not falling. I'm not falling for the rope dope, oka dope, because like I said, I'm way older than this younger generation is. And when you look back at it, where you lost all your sense and time and ability was listening to us, even in music, cussing each other out, calling each other our women B's and H's and all this stuff. And then we put them people up on a pedestal because the record company let them put that kind of stuff out. And who owns the record company back then, the labels and stuff that we were listening to, my younger generation was listening to. Okay. So stop and think before you speak about black people and their accomplishments. I heard a content creator on here comparing using this 5-year-old boy that was slaughtered and murdered back in Mississippi in 1950s towards another content creator. That was asinine to me. That is very asinine. You know, so people, you wake up. People got to wake up. Do you want to be important in this world, or you still want to be left behind, as they say, in everything that we do? It's all right. You can read, you can get the information, but just remember who the information comes from and why is it like that. And we make our own people sometimes, even at the press conferences, look different. They always get the worst person out there to talk about something, or those that do not speak eloquently enough about another person. So think about those kind of things.
I get what you're saying, Mr. Brothers. Believe me, I absolutely totally get what you're saying, and we know
like
who controls
I said, a lot of people don't know. I was sick. I've been so irritated these last month and a half listening to things and the things that I went through. Dogs sicked on me, hosed down, beat up, locked up, thrown in jail because I wanted a right to drink at a damn water fountain. That's all it was about, being equal, being able to go into a store without somebody following you around and accusing you of stealing something, going to a movie theater, being able to buy a ticket at the front and then go through the front door instead of the back door. There's a lot of things that black people have forgotten that we had to do, our great-grandparents had to do, my grandparents had to do in order to even be up on this apparatus. You got to go through a whole bunch of rules and regulations, their rules and regulations. So just, I don't know, just be mindful of Black history, period. Every day is Black history, not one month out of a year. The things that are going on now with Black people, that's history. And when it's the atrocities that are done and the things that we know go against the law, people should speak on it.
And I get exactly what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. And listen, I remember when BET was Black owned when it first started. And if you remember, that was Robert Johnson who actually owned it when it was Black owned, and he sold his share to Viacom for, I believe, 2.3 billion, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot exactly when it was. And if you notice, the quality of quote unquote entertainment has went downhill ever since. I mean, let's face it. There was once a time where the BET Awards was worth watching. The
Thank
last
you.
time I was able to stomach the BET Awards was when they did the tribute to Michael Jackson back in 2009, because he had passed away, obviously, a couple of days before the BET Awards at that time. And that was the last time I could stomach it. I watched it a couple of years ago. I no longer even refer to it as the BET. I refer to it as the EBT network and the EBT Award. And you can make a case I'm wrong for doing that, because we already know that there are more of the other folk that use EBT than we do. But I digress. I just say it because it's just the lack of talent is so alarming and so disgusting, where it's like, come on, man. I mean, and the scary part is, and this is only my opinion, this to me is the lowest level our culture has ever been at. And we're still the trendsetters of this world. Let that sink in. And we're a long ways from where we need to be at. We are the most hated and still the most copied in the world.
Oh, yes, that's
which
true.
lets you know that, see, here's the thing. There is a symbiotic relationship between white supremacy and black folk. They'll never admit it, but there is. Because if that were the case, they would leave us the heck alone. They don't.
Well,
and obviously this does not
way.
apply to all white people. This stuff, but we know
no,
who.
I'm not saying
what we're
applies
talking
to all
about.
that, because, like I said, during the civil rights era and marching and all that stuff, we had white folks in there, but we
Yes,
also
there were some that marched,
understood. Here's what I understood. We also understood, though, that there were some white people going back and telling the establishment our movements and everything. So, as they say,
black folk do that too, Mr. Carruthers. You know that.
Yeah, but see, now that's what I'm saying. You always talk about we had black folks doing that too. Yeah, we did. We realized that too. But we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about the actual facts.
Those are the facts, no, Mr. Carruthers. Did I lie?
No, Uncle Claude. When I say actual facts, like I said, we had white people marching with us, and we also realized that they went back and told things.
Yes,
then instead of you, but here, instead of you,
I'm not supposed to bring out the other part.
You bring it up, but you bring it up as, like I said, like we all do, negatively.
I didn't say all of us did that. There were some. I'm not saying all of us did that. I said that there was a few. I didn't say all.
Well,
and let's face it, you know that we have a few of those
things for sure.
You know that, though.
Oh yeah, we got them now. We got them now. What I'm saying is, Uncle Claude. No, what I'm saying is, Uncle Claude. Here, listen to me. What I'm saying is, it's not about knowing what we got. It's pointing out the ones that are that way.
That's all I was doing, Mr. Brothers. That's all I was doing. And we have to, and see, that's why we have to shut those people down before we can even think of going after white supremacy. We have to take care of our own backyard. That's all I'm saying. We have to purge ourselves of some of these idiots. We got people who are so stupid they can't even stay on code.
Well, that's
sometimes
true.
Silence is golden, Mr. Carruthers. We don't even get that from some of these idiots.
They ain't staying on code. And like I said before, and I'll make that statement again, when it comes to money, a black person will sell out their heart and soul for it. Okay? That's the truth. We know this. But there's nobody to blame but ourselves. There's nobody to blame but ourselves. But
that's all I'm saying.
When you got people that's willing to stand up against it and talk about it, then you get those that go hide in a corner because they're afraid that they're going to lose their little golden rainbow. Like even here on YouTube, certain things can't be said, won't be said
I agree.
because they're afraid. And then we turn right around when a person wants to speak the truth, they'll strike their own people's channels or dox them and all this crazy stuff. So no, I'm not
That's
gonna
the death of
I'm
the
not
beef
gonna sit up
sector.
here.
I
Yeah,
agree. That's the
it's
death of the beef.
not only just the beef sector. It's all sectors. They all do it. We all do it. And know what kind of other sector it is out there. When it's black people involved, we all do it to ourselves. So I've seen people not only in the beef sector, but in the Mo3 sector, the
You're right.
content sector, and every other sector sit up there and dox their people, talk about them, put out information that these white folks already have on us, but they want to make sure everybody knows about it. And it doesn't make sense. And especially when they're the ones with the laws on the book that you as a black person can go back and use against another person. You see what I'm saying? And if you got guts enough to do it and sense enough to take on a corporation, that helps too. A lot of people should be getting tired of being told what to do. They need to get up and do things for themselves. Like I said, we don't have enough black economy of anything when it comes to shopping, being at a grocery store, having banks, or having anything.
Hold on. Stop down. Let me put this up. Former congressional representative from Georgia walked around for over 40 plus years talking about how he was hit over the head with a brick on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. What else did he do, I ask you? Are you talking about Good Trouble, that guy? I can't think of it. Is that Mr. Lewis you're talking about?
He's probably talking about Lewis. But what I'm saying is, if you don't know what he did, why not look it up? Why ask a person that's not in Congress? They got congressional records that tell you how your senators vote, how people do things when it comes to certain laws. You can go out there and decide for yourself. But like I said, I'm not going to get so deeply involved in politics because they all lie. Democrats and Republicans.
Yes, I agree with that. I totally agree. I don't trust either one of them. Like I have always maintained the fact, whether it's the left wing or the right wing, it's the same filthy bird. I've said that from the beginning.
The same thing. And
I have always said that. I will not change on that because Clyburn.
Yeah, but you understand. But you know why Clyburn got elected like that? Because he was always complaining. And the people that voted for him were some of the people that were with him that day on that bridge. A lot of people decided that he has sacrificed himself enough for, quote unquote, this country. No, you didn't. The people that I said sacrificed themselves for this country were people like Medgar Evers.
Yeah, okay? Well, those people are no longer with us.
Right, and that's another thing. They're no longer with us, but yet we can still talk about them in history and learn about what they were doing that caused their demise. Nobody wants to do that though. Well, but some people don't, some people do. But what I'm saying is, our history has been so whitewashed until we don't even know what to believe no more.
Well, that's also why, to me, instead of wanting to take those statues and take those things down, we need to leave them up and explain what they did negatively. Also, you can't tell just one side of the story. Both sides of the story need to be told. Because if you take it down, it's like they don't exist, and that's an excuse for them to do what they're doing right now. Try and whitewash our history. I don't think it's very smart. That's my opinion anyway.
Well, no, it's not smart to erase anybody's history. I don't care who it is. It's not smart to erase people's history that even fought for this country and did things that went out of their way for this country. But when it comes to the atrocity that a group of people in this country had to stand for over 200 years plus, and we're still doing it, what's wrong? What's wrong with telling the truth about the way the country was really founded, how it was taken away from other people? Because there were people in the United States before that so-called Mr. Columbus discovered it, which he didn't.
You can't
Those kind
discover
of things.
something where people are already there.
Yeah, those kind of things.
I think it's John Lewis. I think it's John Lewis. I don't
John
think
Lewis.
it's Clyburn. I think it's John Lewis. I'm not sure. I'll double check on that. Later on, I will double check on it. And remember, Columbus, to let you know how big a failure he was in the Caribbean. He thought he was in India. That's why they're called Indians. He was in the West Indies. He was such a fool. He didn't even know where the hell he was at.
Yeah.
He was a colossal failure, and yet the Italians still wanted to sell. Oh well, Columbus did. No, he did. He died a broke failure in jail. If you know your history, but see, they won't show you. They won't tell you about that.
No, nobody will tell you the truth about.
He died in jail. He owed billions of dollars in today's money. He was a colossal failure. Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand threw him in the slammer so quick. He was a clown failure. But if you know, you know. And still, the Italians love that guy.
Well, that's because it was their history that they wanted to try to make.
Yeah, they want to make sure to make it seem like he was so great. He wasn't. He was a clown.
Mm-hmm.
He was a failure clown. And I don't even understand why the Italians took to Columbus. He was Spanish. Why do you want to claim him? How stupid is that? Hey, what do I?
Who knows? Who knows why people do that idol worshiping out here? We don't know. I don't know.
Remember, we were also stupid enough after God led us out of Egypt, out of bondage the first time, instead of serving the God that led us out, we decided to melt gold and worship a calf. So let's be fair about that. I mean, even though, and people don't realize that the Bible is also part of our history book. Robert Byrd was a Klansman, and that's actually the guy who was the mentor to Jim Crow Joe Biden. Robert Byrd of West Virginia.
Robert Byrd. Yeah, it was John Lewis who was the senator that was attacked on Pettus Bridge.
That's who I thought it was. That's Mr. Good. No, he was,
and that happened in 1965. So you know how long that's been. So, but like I'm saying, our history is something of a wishy-washy, watered down version of what they want it to be. We have books that are being burnt now or taken off the shelves. And then, like I said, remember Uncle Tom's Cabin, the original version, and the newer version, new copies that they got out now are nowhere near the same. I went and got a new copy of that. Wording is different. They use different words to try to smooth over things. They didn't use the M word in it as often as they did in the original copy. So we have
our own Star Spangled Banner has been watered down. I mean, the fury against the flag? Come on, if you want to go, let's go all the way. Let's not go halfway with this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's tell the whole thing, and that's what America. See, it can't face that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, because there's no way we're going to be past it until it's faced.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do that. And nobody wants to have a healthy conversation about it, because then it becomes a bunch of name calling and swearing. And people didn't do that. And it's like, listen, the truth. I can't help it if the truth bothers. I mean, it's just, sometimes it just gets borderline ridiculous. I mean, you see sometimes in the chat when you talk politics, it's a bunch of name calling. I mean, These people act like they're 7 years old.
Well, you know why that is. Like I said, there are people that are miserable in life, and they want everybody else to be miserable. So, in order for them to do that, they come up here and they use fictitious names or a name that about a person that they've seen in the chat, put their name in it as one of them, and do crazy, say crazy things. You know, that trolling situation, it is stupid. It's stupid. I would never want to be. It's not a proud badge. It used to not be a proud badge to be called a troll. Now everybody wants to be known as a troll. They wear like a proud badge. You see what I'm saying? And that's the generations. That's generations. It's not though. It's not though. It's not. A troll to me is something that's ugly. Number one, and two, they're always creating havoc. So that's, if you want to create the havoc, you go right on ahead.
Have you seen a real troll? Real trolls are ugly. But
well, according to legend and everything, mythology, yes, trolls are really ugly. They are ugly people. So, what can you say? What else can you say?
Also, I'm sorry. Let me read this. Strong. Yeah, I remember Strong Thurman. He was North Carolina. It was either North or South Carolina. Strong Thurman. He was about 100 years old when he and he was so. I mean, he was a racist piece of garbage. And it turned out that he had black kids. What a winner he was.
Well, a lot of them did. A lot of them do. Even now today, they have them.
That doesn't keep them from being racist. Master went down play bro. I mean, please. Let's call a spade here.
Yeah.
I mean, Thomas Jefferson. We already know how.
Oh yeah, the family he created. Yeah.
And he was a disgrace, but he's a patriot, allegedly.
Yeah, but look at the black people that are left behind from that generation. That type of generation. What are they supposed to think? What are they supposed to really know? And should they be proud that they were descendants of Thomas Jefferson, or should they be ashamed? That's another thing. How would you feel? How would you feel if you found out that you were kin to Adolf Eichmann? You know who that is. Or how would you feel?
That's a disgrace. I mean,
yeah, see what I'm saying? But as black people, should we, when we go back into our history and find out who our ancestors was, and they turn out to be one of them no good, rotten people, are we going to accept them into the family too, or are we going to just keep our mouth shut?
Well, let's face it. Some of our so-called people look at it as, I have this blood in me. Yeah, right. Yeah, good luck with that. That and the dollar might get you a bag of chips. So I don't want to hear that. So some of our people, as I keep saying, there's no cure for stupid, Mr. Carruthers. And there's some of them. I had John Quincy Adams blood in me. Oh no, that just means that your ancestors got graped by John Adams. Wow, that's nothing to be. That's almost like saying I went to a dinner party and read a train. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's funny how we have to. If people would just sit back and think, just once in a while, put your stocking caps on. Just because you're mad at one person, don't make you mad at everybody else. Because everybody's not the same. Their political ideas, religious ideas, even when it comes to marriage and relationships, everybody's not the same on that level. And they never have been the same on that level anyway. So why would you get yourself all tied up in a tizzy, Listen,
I mean, am I proud to be from America? Yes. That doesn't mean it doesn't need improvement. It means a lot of improvement.
Right.
And that's all. I mean, that's my thing. We shouldn't be satisfied. with where it is right now, we should always want to improve. I think I think you're a fool if you don't want things to improve.
Yeah. And just like
If
I
anybody's
tell
happy
people,
with the status quo of this country, then you need your head examined.
yeah. And like I tell people, my father was an immigrant. You know, he was a proud Jamaican man, and he instilled in me some of his values, especially when it came to women and how to treat them. But then you got some people now that they can't stand Jamaican people, or the only thing good a Jamaican man is for is to make that money, get that money from them, and have them go to work. That's what I can't. But that same Jamaican father that I had, he was also called a black man, except when it came to putting down on my birth certificate what he was. He wasn't a Negro. He wasn't black. He was a Jamaican. See what I'm saying? So what does that make me? I'm still a black Negro kid, but I just happen to have a Jamaican father.
We only hear where race is always thrown in our face. That's the
Mm-hmm.
problem. And,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 what kills me is when I hear them talk about when I hear certain people say, "Oh, you guys bring up the race card." No, the race card is thrown up in our faces because you guys have the whole deck of cards. Why
Yeah.
you don't be telling me about the race card?
Yeah. Because the minute you draw a spade out of the card deck, you're in trouble.
There's a couple of jokers in there too, but I digress.
Yeah, some jokers in there.
But, I mean, they always bring it up quicker than we do. I just be left alone and do what I need to do. Just, geez, yeah, they bring it up more than we do.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
that's in my travels anyway. It's like, damn, can we have one day where we don't have to worry about it? But nope, it's gotta be
Nope.
thrown. It's gotta be
And
thrown
you
in our
you said it. It's thrown up in our faces. Even on the news every day. If a person really watches the news, they'll see all this craziness going on every day. So it's amazing. Either we accept the news or we look into it a little deeper now because you have the sources, the resources to do that. Back when I was coming up, you didn't have the resources to do that. You've got the resources to question if a senator voted. Oh, Lady Sparkles, how you doing? And you have a right to question things and question the authority. Don't be afraid to question the authority. You know, use your God-given rights, even with the laws. Study them, know them. You don't have to be proficient in them, but you know that you're allowed to have your Miranda rights read, which some places now they done threw that out because different states are different. They don't have to read you your Miranda rights anymore because the
oh,
laws have changed. You know, we're running around thinking they got to read us our Miranda rights. No, they don't. Not anymore. Mm-mm.
that's great.
Just be aware of things that are going on. Shoot, all this this new AI technology we're getting in. Be mindful of that. Be careful with it because that is
Oh,
what they say artificial intelligence. Hell, an artificial heart breaks down on people. It's not foolproof. Yeah, okay. So that's what I'm saying. Anything that's man-made, question it. Don't be afraid. These cars driving around here with no drivers in them. What do you need that for? They can go haywire too and run over a bunch of people because
Yep.
it's man-made. It's not perfect. So,
No, it is not.
mhm.
Let's face it, we're not perfect. I mean, once Adam and Eve did what they did, they messed it up for everyone. That's another chapter in another book that
That's
nobody
another
wants
yep.
to hear about.
Ask 2300. Ask 2300 who has she gotten engaged to on here.
I think I think her and Red Wings hockey might be
It
going
might
to
be.
the Holiday Inn, the Holiday Inn Resort in well,
Red Wings, you better watch out for 23. You better watch out for her now. She's a free bird. She likes to do those kind of things.
I stay out of grown folk business myself. Not I have no comment on these things.
Well, we know between them two is going to be some funny stuff, so it doesn't matter. I know that they're not serious. They're up here trying to make us pay attention to them so we can say something different instead of talking about what we're talking about.
No, they've been about 6 years in. Well, God bless them.
Yeah, Red Wings, that Miranda rights, it doesn't apply up there in Canada. We know that. Okay.
Unfortunately, you're right. What Red Wings hockey? Let me read this. As long as you're not being questioned, you can get around the Miranda rights. Sometimes people, and unfortunately, you're right. Some people are
Yeah,
willing
they
to
do snitch on themselves. Yeah.
and they do it like clockwork, especially around here. But I digress. They dox themselves here.
Yeah, we
Some of them.
do. Well, I've done it. I'm not going to say accidentally done it. I wasn't thinking about it because I didn't think about. I never occurred to me how atrocious and dirty people could be on here. When I did my COVID, when I got my shot for my COVID back then, what was it, about 4 years ago? Longer than that. I accidentally let my phone number be seen on it, and I had a few phone calls. It wasn't phone calls. I had a couple of texts. They wanted me to do certain things with people. I never did speak about it, but no, I'm not going to do that because it wasn't like you said, it wasn't my business. I stayed out of it, and I guess because I didn't follow up on it, they got mad. People got mad. So, well, okay, whatever.
Well,
6 years.
that's a beautiful thing. God bless. Hey, they like it. I love it. God bless.
Yeah.
As long as y'all happy, that's the most important thing. As long as y'all been treated right and y'all are happy, that's great.
Yeah. I'm happy for you too, Jackson, because I tried finding romance on it, and you see how it ended up. But as you say, Uncle Claude, that's another tale for another story.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh my God. Yeah. Speaking of other stories, in a couple of days I will not be on. There'll be a couple of days I'll take off the YouTube course.
Mm-hmm.
This Thursday would have been our 25th wedding anniversary.
Okay.
And unfortunately, of course, she's not here now. So I'm going to take probably this weekend off. Oh, I won't be on. I'm going to need some time to.
Yeah, because it's still fresh for you. It took me like 4 years to get over my last one like that. And I feel pretty good now. What was it? Sunday was her birthday. So me and her, yes, me and her kids went out to the race site and we said our little piece. And I came on back home and did my thing Sunday night. And I just, it takes a while to get used to not having them around. It'll never be used. You'll never get used to that. That's a wrong statement. But it takes a while for you. Hey.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. See, I wonder how long she's been listening to us.
That will always be a friend to them. Always.
Of course. Hey, dear. But no, like I said before, it's the way you move in life, and the older you get, you'll see things will change. And when you get to 60, 65, 70, 75, all your younger thoughts will go away to because number one, your body's not going to be able to do what you used to do. You see what I'm saying? So, and you got to accept that too. You got to accept it. And there's a lot of people on here that don't want to accept aging. They don't want to accept getting older. And so they still try to act like they were back in their teen years or something.
Yeah,
but only they do it on the keyboard.
Yeah, I do notice that some people on this platform, it's almost like a second childhood.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's not cute.
yeah.
I don't need to see 50 and 60 somethings acting like 8 and 10-year-olds. It's embarrassing.
Well, they're on here doing something that they know they might get chastised for, but it's not chastising the way that if you were at home with your parents and they seen you doing the stupid stuff, you know you're liable to get popped upside the head. See what I'm saying?
But this has definitely been an intriguing. This is an intriguing case, and
well,
I can't wait
there's
till
nothing
there's more that
intriguing.
comes
There's
out.
nothing intriguing about it to me, Uncle Claude.
Well,
When it all boils down, they took that boy out there, they did something to him, and they're trying to, as usual, hide it, hide the truth. That's all. That's all. And the town that they live in is known as a sundown town. And I'm like, Snowdown, who would want to be on a place where there's no running water, where you can't wash your butt when you wake up in the morning? You see what I'm saying?
that makes absolutely no sense.
No,
So
that
we're
makes no
going to
sense
see.
at all. Even for a young teenager, now, no, I could see maybe if the boy didn't have all his faculties and stuff, but I don't think he's the type of guy that would go sleep out in the woods all day and all night and not have water around him. So that's what I'm looking at. And like I said, the world is an evil place. There's still evil people here, no matter what. And there's going to be those that hate on each other so badly that they're willing to do anything to another person.
Yeah, now keep in mind,
Yeah.
Shanquella Robinson, those were her so-called friends, and those were her own so-called people. They treated her like, see what happened in Cabo, how they treated her. So this is, unfortunately,
it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but
that's why you don't travel with a lot of people sometimes.
Yeah, you know.
And
as you get older, you'll realize that
the circle gets smaller as you get older.
Yeah, the circle gets smaller as you get older, you know. But like I said, I don't mind having fun, but I like to have it now to where you can have fun too. You know, we can sit up and joke and laugh about things and not question each other too much about what we find funny and what we find not funny. That's all.
Yeah, you're right, Stomp Down. The mothers went to the high school together. It's very sad.
Yeah, yeah.
When Coach Claude and Mr. Carruthers, 5 to 7 years younger than you guys, but just being able to. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
do
I'm doing
too.
so. Hey, Dr. Soapy, how are you?
Hey, salute, Dr. Soapy.
I don't know if I'm doing so much teaching, but I'm just, if I'm able to share whatever knowledge that I have and pass it on, I'm more than happy to do that. If I'm able to help somebody, I don't mind doing it. I do take a lot of pride in being able to help others, and it comes from a real place. It's not like,
it's not phony. It's not phony. With me, I am old, man. 76 years, people, that's a lot in history that a lot of people haven't even bartered enough to see.
Thank you, Stop That. Thank you. So
Thank you so very much, Snowdown. Being on this earth, like I said, 76 years, I've seen a lot of history. As I've seen politicians unalived, regular people unalived, those that are very important to us pass away. You know, Michael Jackson, uh,
Yeah.
from Whitney Houston, and all that. I was there when the planes crashed into the twin towers. I can
Yeah,
still. That's all in my. It's in my
literally
heart.
there,
It's in my mind.
brothers. I was
Yeah.
literally I worked in that area. I worked my office was directly in front of the World Trade Center because I worked that downtown.
Hmm.
I worked downtown and it was I in fact I remember it was Morton Street, which is in the East Village, and you
Right.
could see the World Trade Center because I was a supervisor at my old job, and my office you could see the World Trade Center, and
Right.
I worked from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. And luckily or unluckily for many people, unfortunately, that happened. The first one, I believe, was 8:48 in the
Hmm.
morning.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Because
I was
I was
thinking
working at.
I thought it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, wow, man, I tell you, Arnold Schwarzenegger got this new movie coming out, huh? And it turned out it was really because, and I found out because when I tried to turn the channels,
It was on
it,
all channels.
it was on all the channels. The only channel that you were able to get was WPIX channel 11. There was
Hmm.
more like 5,000 stomped down. I remember I was there.
Yeah.
In fact, it was over 5,000 people. And here's the kicker to that. And this is why you see a lot of conspiracy theories. I believe about 2,000 um, so-called J people called out that day.
Mm.
So let that sink in.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, people
there's a
were
lot of.
jumping out of the building. That definitely happened. In
Yeah.
fact, there
There
was
was a lot of conspiracies
was
behind
a
that
lot,
story. A
and
lot of conspiracies.
that's when cell phones were relatively new. Also,
Hmm.
um, in fact, before I think I had this is how old I know I'm telling my age now. Before they became, they were Voice Stream. I had Voice Stream at that time. Voice Stream actually got bought out by T-Mobile. They're all part of T-Mobile.
T-Mobile now. Yeah.
Um, and my mom was so scared. It took about 2.5 to 3 hours for for the signals to go through. And they were very, very, once they heard my voice, it felt like I was, when I first came home from Kuwait. It was it was that scary. It
Mhm.
was that scary. And I was, that time I was staying in Astoria, Queens.
Yeah.
And that could,
And see, yeah, like I said, the way communication is today, when things happen instantaneously, is boom, 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 right there. There was a time when we had to rely on beepers. We had to rely on, if you were rich enough or smart enough, you had a ham radio in your home. A lot of guys back then used CBs to talk around. You know, the truckers had the CBs, and the people at home learned to get the CB antennas and talk with people on the road, and they would tell what was going on in different towns. That's how news was spread. Yeah, but now it's instantaneous, like you said. You can hit
thank you
your.
so much, Dr. Sophie. I
Thank
appreciate
you, Sophie. Yeah, we appreciate that very much from you. And to all you guys out there, please thumb up the video, even if you don't like it. Just thumbs up it anyway.
Gee,
Yes,
thanks a lot,
Jackson.
I think.
Yeah, we had two B's.
Oh, and
Yeah,
listen, you know what kills
yeah,
me
from the
about that
dust
stop down?
pollution.
I'm
Right,
glad you
right,
brought that out.
right.
Um, you know what? They will not. I did an upload on that because I did an upload from the World Trade Center Rudolph Giuliani has that blood on his hands because he was the guy that told all those people, "Oh, it's safe to go down there." This, that, the third. He and Christy Todd Whitman from New Jersey. Those two people have blood on their hands. They absolutely have blood on their hands. Yeah, Nextel, I remember that. When the Pentagon, yeah, I remember that. You know that this September will make the 25th year of that. It'll be the 25th anniversary
25 years
of
ago.
9/11. I cannot believe it. It felt like yesterday in a lot of ways, I tell you. Now it's
Boy,
almost another lifetime ago. But
what I was doing back 25 years ago when that happened. Well, I was working at a college here in Cape. So I was working in the kitchen and we had the TVs on, and even the college students were scared that day. They were so afraid, and they were calling. I know some people, hey, Dr. Sophie, I know some people that families lived there in New York and they were calling, trying to call home. The phone lines were jammed and everything else. So it was a horrific day. It was a horrific day. Not just in that city, but for all over the United States, really.
But I tell you what, for 3 months, the country came together. For 3 months, everybody was galvanized. Nobody was, everybody went from, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that," to "I'm an American."
Yeah.
For
Well, you know
3
why?
months.
You know why, Uncle Claude? We haven't actually had a war in this country to where planes used to fly over, drop bombs on cities and tanks roll in and all that. We've never been invaded like that. Even when Germany had their wars over in Europe and Italy, you see how the devastation that caused. This country has never had that done except during Civil War time. Yeah, well, Pearl Harbor was not. I'm not. It's not the same. Because Pearl Harbor in Hawaii,
base.
It's a military base, but they didn't fly into say like Washington D.C. or California from over into the middle part of the United States. They didn't have troops on the ground like they did over in Europe, even in Vietnam, in Iraq, and all that's different stuff. No troops have never from a foreign country been on this ground fighting with our troops. That's what I look at.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. That was during my somewhat drinking days too. After that, I was like, I stocked up on gallons of water, canned goods, because I treated it as a war zone.
Yeah.
And I also got 2 gallons of Bacardi. I'm like, listen, I don't want to feel it.
Yeah.
At that time, I was a lot younger than I am now. Wasn't it? But man, I remember 9/11 very well in New York. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was great. It was crazy. It was really a day of panicking and everything else. But when you look back on it 25 years ago, this country was in I would say a lot better shape than it is now. Put it that way. Well, I'm talking about far as security is concerned and stuff like that. Even though we have this, what they call that in cell, what they call these terrorists that are sleeper cells now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they got the sleeper cells. We don't really worry about the sleeper cells because of what? Nobody talks about them like they used to, but we do have them here. We do have them here, and I guarantee you, if they ever wake up, we all better be prepared. That's all I'm going to say.
I also remember too, because the president, that was George W., who was the president at that time. Let's face it, he was about as smart as a rock. He was. He put
What
the
was
S.
he doing? What was he doing that day? Reading library books to some children?
Yeah. So you know
Yeah,
those.
he was reading.
So you know those. So you know those kids came out stupid. Oh my God! Listen, I mean,
Oh boy, I'm going back to Star Trek
thank
now.
you.
Beat me up, Scotty. I'm tired of being down here.
Listen, you know he was dumb as please. I mean, and I wasn't a fan of his father either. I mean, we know what he did. I mean, he decided it was a good idea to, him and Ronnie decided it was a good idea to put crack in the neighborhood. So,
Well, they've always done that to us when it comes to the drugs and the illegal firearms and all that. And we accepted it. Like I said, we accepted it. So what can I say? Shit. I've seen some people that'll get on here and brag about selling drugs back in the heyday, to people, to their own people, but you don't realize that you were destroying a family, a black family at that. You see what I'm saying? But yet we want to criticize those that talk about us doing those kind of things. So I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, that was, I mean, let's face it. Now, let's also be clear. It was more than black folks smoking crack. Let's
Well,
let's
of course it was.
let's call that out. Now, the way it was policed was totally different too. Now you see, with the so-called war on drugs now,
Mm-hmm. And then you also have to look at this one movie.
Government placing crack.
This one movie that everybody raised and craved about it during that epidemic was New Jack City.
New Jack City, yeah.
Let's face it. They had the right combination of all this high life living and the music in the background, people partying and clubbing, and figuring out a way to bring their own people down even more until it got crossed up with another group.
But that is, I mean, if you remember that era, especially in New York, I mean, there were certain parts you couldn't walk down certain places after a certain time of night because if you weren't buying, you had to get the F off of those streets. I remember those days. It's like when I was in high school. It was crazy. You had to duck. You had to duck some of those heads in order. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, stomp down, and that's what I was referring to. Oh my God! Oh no! I hit the wrong button. Oh, I got it. How do I retrieve that?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Stomp down. I sincerely apologize. How do I get him back?
Who is that?
I been stomped out by accident. How do I get him back?
I do. Oh. You have to go in there and do it yourself, Uncle Claude. You're the owner of the channel.
But how do I do it? Oh, I feel like it.
Because I never clicked on anybody's message and banned them at the same time. I don't know.
That's the second time that's happened to me.
Yeah. Oh. So stomp down if you can hear me.
Please, I apologize. Oh my goodness.
He didn't mean that. That's crazy.
Oh, how do I? Damn it.
Yeah.
How do I go?
Go to your block list. Go to your block list.
Where is the block list? Where's that?
Let's see if I can remember.
Yeah, New Jack City was a great soundtrack. I am just sick. I am absolutely sick. Where's the block list? Let me see. I am sick.
You're 23 Rockabye Baby. That was great. Great.
I think she passed away in real life, that girl who kept saying that. Rockabye Baby. Yeah, I remember.
Well, maybe, yeah, go out and see if you can get them back in, folks. I'll try to entertain you as long as I can. Hope he didn't take himself out either. But yeah, it's hard, you know, for me to look back at
This is
history, historical
unbelievable.
things, and remember. No, you're not bad, 23. You just remember things like I do. You're up
Where's
in
my
age,
block?
dear. Huh?
How do I? Where's the block list? I don't know where
Uh,
that's at. I'm
well,
gonna have to
Uncle,
end it.
you're gonna have to go as soon as you get off of here. Go straight to YouTube and find out how to unblock somebody because I can't tell you. I've never had that problem. I've had my moderators block people, and I haven't even went back in to try to unblock those that I know that don't need to be blocked on there. So
Oh, I am so
I know it's
disgusted.
crazy.
Stop down if you're in the clouds. I do
Vicinity
apologize, but
crowd listening.
I will rectify this as soon as possible. This is embarrassing. He's gonna curse me out. I can't blame him. I gotta sit there and take it.
No, I don't think. I really hope he doesn't curse.
I will Google it, Jackson Street. Jeez. This is so bad. I'm gonna have to go on my other device. This is crazy.
You get your other device out and Google it while you're here talking, and it'll probably help you out right quickly.
I want to bring it back.
It's not funny, but I know how you feel.
Oh, it isn't. It isn't funny. You're right. This is horrible. It's embarrassing, actually. But what's going on with? And of course, my other device is acting slow. Why not? In fact, I think I can give it. You know what? Let me Google that before I get to this because there's actually an update to the Nolan Wells story, and I will get to that in a few. Okay. How do I guess I asked how do I find my block list on YouTube?
Yeah, you asked that. How did you find your block list?
Oh, no, that's not it.
Android. Open the phone app.
No, they're giving me the wrong.
For apps like Facebook.
Are you on your Android or a computer?
I'm on my Android.
Okay. They'll tell you how to open your Android. If you're on your Android, they'll tell you how to open it up and what settings to go to.
Now I see how to find block users.
Optimize your checkout flow.
Oh,
so you can grow your revenue. And your team can focus on everything. Like your customers.
This is so embarrassing.
Businesses using Stripe to optimize.
Okay.
Jackson 23 said go to your YouTube studio.
Oh, I have to go to YouTube studio. Okay, hold on just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I shall return.
Yeah, one of those wild and crazy nights. That's why I really don't try to touch buttons when I'm on here. It is. But like I said, I know I've got some people blocked from back in the day when I first started out. Certain people would block people off, and I haven't went back in to try to rectify it right now because I have two different platforms. So, and the other one is not as popular. Oh, I'm doing fine, Jackson. I did a jazz thing last night, matter of fact, on my other station, on my other YouTube channel, my music. And believe it or not, it didn't get interrupted. I guess it's because it was an instrumental thing that I did. And, you know, they don't really hardly hit us on instrumentals like they do with the original singers and all that good stuff. But yeah. You don't see where he was banned? Well, it popped up that he was banned. Yes, dear, you were sleeping. You were sleeping, but you must have been asleep pretty early because I did it around 8:30 last night, 8:25, 8:10. You must have went to bed early. But it's up though. Like I said, if you want to go take a look at it, it's up. Oh, okay. He's back, Uncle Claude. Thank A Stomp down. Yeah, he's kind of shook up there, Stomp down. I don't know what he pushed, but what the heck? You're back. Yeah. You're on Ohio. Well, still, darling. You 8:30. Yeah, you were probably asleep because I think Ohio and Missouri's time is different. We're back, Uncle Claude. Storm Down said it's all good. He'll be back in a minute. He'll be back. But yeah. Yep, he's back. Uncle Claude, hurry me get back up to your stream now. Don't tell me you kicked your own self out your own studio. uh, these are kind of nights that I kind of love here on YouTube too, when certain things go haywire and we're trying to fix it and nobody knows what to do except a few people. Oh, can I drop my link? Well, let me see here. Uh, this one here is just my thoughts, and that's one of my channels. My main music channel is in my name, William Carruthers, Corruthers, and I do it as DJ Will. So, Jackson, drop the link in there, sweetheart. Like I said, yeah, go ahead and drop them in there, honey. Both of them. Just my thoughts and my music platform. It doesn't make any difference. Still waiting for Uncle Claude to get back. Yeah, I got to go in there and check my subscriptions to other people's channels that I have. Also, I look at my subscription total and it's like, wow, but see, I don't do a lot of, as they say, buying personal subscriptions to where I can be in there and be nosy all the time. I don't do that, but I do sub to a lot of people. I just love listening to different conversations and the way things go at times. And, like everybody else on YouTube, we're all nosy. We all like the drama because, I was raised up on soap operas too. The Guiding Light, Search for Tomorrow, all my children and all that good stuff. Dallas. So, yeah. Well, he's got to be around because of StreamYard. Well, okay. Good job. Misunderstood. I told you he said he accidentally timed him out. Now he needs to get back up here. Let me see if I can drop my link on here. Let's see. Yeah, who shot JR? Well, you know who it was. It was Pam. Is the woman that shot him. Yes, it had to come in under my other name. That name right there is the one that I use for my music platform, the Weaving Brothers. But the HTTPS is just my thoughts. That's where I come up here and I can speak with people with Uncle Claude and them and stuff like that. Yeah, Red Wings hockey. Everybody knows it was Sue Ellen that shot JR. uh, yeah, it was Sue Ellen. Do you happen to know the Sminoff from Dallas? There was a spinoff from Dallas. I guess this is trivia time for me. Uh, well, he learned how to put the person up on big screen while he dropped down. So maybe he'll get himself back up here. And if he's still listening, there you go, Falcon Crest. Are you looking up stuff? uh, yeah, there's a lot of. I've been going back though. I don't know what it is that makes me do it. Been watching old programs, even when they were in black and white, like Sergeant Preston of the Yukon, the old Gunsmoke with James Arness, um, uh, Rawhide when it was before Clint Eastwood got famous, became famous. He was a cowboy on Rawhide, and yeah, those kind of things. Ren 1010. I've been watching Roy Rogers and Dale Evans westerns and stuff. So I don't know if it's nostalgia that I'm feeling now, or I just want to relax and go back to the days when I didn't have any troubles. I could just sit down and watch TV and just have fond memories. Even the kid shows, you know, WGNI Chicago, where they had Bozo Circus on the air at high noon. So a lot of people out in the West and even middle part of the West didn't have the programming Chicago had. So now he's having a hard problem trying to get back up on his own stream yard. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I remember the Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby. Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, Boss Hogg, and all them guys. I watched a couple of episodes. I could never. Don't ask me why. I could never get into the Dukes of Hazzard. The only thing that really kind of interested me was Daisy with her Dukes on. We all knew about her. So, but yeah, Boss Hog and all them guys too. Like earlier tonight, I was watching Burt Reynolds and Sally Fields together and Smokey and the Bandit 2. I had already seen, well, we all seen one, but then I remember Chris Christopherson when he played the duck, the rubber duck, in Convoy. Those kind of movies I did watch growing up and as a kid, I know. And who can forget Easy Rider with Dennis Hopper? And there was a young actor that played with him. He had a cameo. They called it a cameo appearance, but he stayed with him, Jack Nicholson, for a pretty good while in that movie Easy Rider. So, yeah, I can relate to movies back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s. Some of the movies even in the 70s. So, I remember when Gone with the Wind came out with Clark Gable, Hattie McDaniels, the first black woman to ever win an Oscar. Those kind of things. Also, there were movies with Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis uh, being chained together. I couldn't think of the movie right now, but Two Mules for Sister Sarah with Clint Eastwood. The plane. You're talking about Fantasy Island with Ricardo Montalban. Yes, they had some good episodes on that too. That was a sort of a like, I don't know. I want to say a science sci-fi story because a lot of things that happen in the story, Fantasy Island was their fantasies that people wanted to live, and they came true, but at a price too on some of them. Yeah, Fantasy Island. I also watched Gilligan's Island too, so that was a doozy. The professor and Marion and all them guys, and just think about it. They were on this island for so many years. Nobody got pregnant. you know, uh, the professor and his wife, rich folks, but they always had the lapse of luxury. They had more than the rest of the guys on the island had. Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Howell, I believe. Yeah. So you guys, you got me going way back too. It was a great show. Uncle Claude, where you at, buddy? Somebody call him and let him know he let him know that we got him back. MU, call him. You guys got connections? Text him or something. Let him know. Yeah. Like I say, there's a lot of TV shows that I used to sit back as a youngster, kid, and watch. And even with these sci-fi movies, I was sort of a sci-fi buff. I used to do a lot of Godzilla movies, and there was a show that used to come on out of Chicago called Svengali, which comes on now, believe it or not. And they had a shock theater, which they showed the old movies like the Frankenstein movies. He may not be able to come back. Well, it's a shame. It's a shame. This man starts. Oh well, that I don't mind. I don't mind. But like I said, there was old TV shows that I used to watch growing up as a kid that'll never be showed on TV again unless you go on to YouTube or you have Roku or Fire Stick or something like that to where you can go back and get those old shows, or you have the apps for them. Because I got like 104 apps on my Roku, with all different stuff that I look at. uh, the redhead on Gilligan's Island. I believe her name. What was her name? There was the Professor Gilligan, Marianne, the Howells. There was also the redheaded girl. I can't think of her name right now, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, she would have gotten hugs from me too. To be honest with you, Annie Oakley would have got a hug from me. Oh boy. And there he is. Hey there, buddy.
I can't do it to save my life. I can't.
He's back. He's back. He's back. He's here. He was here.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he was here.
Oh, crap.
That's what we tried to tell you.
Oh, well, I was gone by oh man, I had to. Oh, thank you so much, Misunderstood. Oh, bless you.
Yes. She got him back.
Oh man. Thank you so much, Misunderstood. Oh, bless you. I'm through all that. I'm so mad.
I think he might have dropped down now because I don't see him in
Oh,
here.
he
But
probably
he
got
came
tired
back.
of waiting on me. I was gone for a while.
Yeah, but he said he's back and it's all good.
Oh,
No
thank
worries. It happens, you know.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Oh man.
You see it?
Oh, thank you for bringing him back.
Oh.
And secondly, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. But I'm glad. Oh man. Oh man. This was a mess.
While you were doing, I was giving a little history lessons on the movies and things I used to watch on TV. So
I'm looking at some of it. Yeah, I never was a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard, but I'm really glad I didn't watch it with that because everybody wanted General Lee, and boy,
they still got General Lee's out. We got a car down here.
That's another chapter in another book.
Yeah, but you got to look at it this way, Uncle Clark. When watching TV, if you didn't let those kind of things bother you, that's General Lee was a history general. We know that, but the car and with the rebel flag on it and all that stuff, we didn't think about. Honestly, I didn't think about that. I looked at it as entertainment. You know, I like to see them jumping over them hills and outrunning the law and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I didn't think General Lee. It wasn't. I think it was because it was named that. A lot of people later on looked it up and didn't like it, but it didn't matter to me. I was a child. I was a kid enjoying television. You know, politics didn't fall into place. Nothing on the outside world fell into place. And it was just like before television. Hell, we used to listen to the radio. You know, I used to remember going over to my grandpa's house, listening to the White Sox with Bob Elston playing on the radio because we didn't have a TV then. And a lot of times, radio shows that came on, the old Amos and Andy programs, the Jack Benny Hour, you know, George Burns and Gracie Allen.
Yep. So, good night, Gracie. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then there was a lot of TV series came from radio. So, and once you've seen the actors and actresses acting out the parts, and it was completely different. It was completely different. Like a lot of people don't know that Amos and Andy were first two white guys that broadcasted over the radio, and they even made
blackface though.
They were in blackface too in the movies. They were in blackface. Yeah.
I knew it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Dodge Challenger. You're absolutely right, Red Wings.
Yeah.
Oh,
back then, that Dodge was the hottest car out there. So that's not.
Pretty
But then
fast.
we can't do that because what was that car that Michael Knight drove? Oh, she wants
Well,
to say
you're
it.
talking
No,
about the Knight Rider. That was
Knight Rider.
that was a
Yeah,
Camaro. Was that a Camaro?
I don't know. I I can't even remember if that was a
Or
Camaro
was
or
that
not.
a fi-
I think
I,
it might have been. It might have been a Firebird.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember. Of course, Smokey and the Bandit was a fire. That was a
Yeah,
Trans Am. That was a Trans Am.
Trans Am, Pontiac Trans Am.
Yeah,
I was just telling them I got through watching Smokey and the Bandit 2 tonight with Sally Fields.
mhm.
That's the one where they had the pregnant elephant in it.
Yeah, Jackie Gleason.
Yeah,
Yeah, they said he and Burt Reynolds actually got along very well.
yeah. And Jackie
Okay.
Gleason was a hard guy to get along with back in the day. Now,
Yeah, I heard about that. In fact,
when they
yeah, it
had the
was a Trans
honeymooners,
Am.
the honeymooners was out. Boy, I tell you. And now you talking about a guy that got away with talking about abusing his wife. He was going to always send Alice to the moon.
It was definitely a different time then. I tell you, bang,
Yeah.
boom, yeah.
Yeah, but see,
Yeah,
and then I had to remember that them shows when you guys were growing up, they were in reruns and syndications. So
yeah. It still comes on every New Year's. I don't know, man. That's when you know New Year's Eve honeymooners. People still doing that.
yeah.
There was an update about an hour ago. The sheriff John Ledbetter gives the latest on the investigation, which means he probably didn't do jack, but we'll see. Jackson County Sheriff says the investigation remains active and ongoing 1 week after Wells's body was found on Horn Island. Now, here's the timeline and what we know so far about the disappearance. 1 week after the body of 18-year-old Nolan Wells was found on Horn Island, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office said the investigation remains active as questions continue to surround his death over Independence Day weekend. Now, the Sheriff John Ledbetter said his department has conducted witness interviews and has been in contact with other agencies, including the FBI. This investigation is active. It's ongoing, Ledbetter said. Ledbetter said tips from the public have played a role in the investigation's process. This recent week, we got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us, Ledbetter said. Many have been awaiting the results of Wells's autopsy. Toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. I am looking forward to seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety said, every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or on the same timeline. Results from an independent autopsy commissioned by the Wells family were expected to be released Friday, July 10th. However, attorney Ben Crump said results were delayed due to issues transporting Wells's body. And that's a red flag right there, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen?
Everything is always a red flag when it comes to investigations of those kind of things. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on that until it's official and at the end. Everybody don't know nothing. Everybody investigating and all that. It's a simple case of who done it, who did it, why, and how come. So, and until they want to admit that, it'll never be the same. It'll never be the same.
I think the most damning evidence or lack thereof is the fact that he was there without his phone. You know, all these kids, especially. I mean, we're adults and we don't go anywhere without these smartphones. You know, an 18-year-old kid is not going anywhere without a smartphone.
Yeah.
But I got
Without his phone. So let's face it. They did something to him, took his phone, took it back home, and erased all his shit off of it.
which
Text
they
message.
already said some of his
Yeah,
stuff was erased.
yeah.
So
So
we know that there was some hijinks there,
yeah.
to put it mildly, allegedly.
Yeah.
As theories
And
circulate from on social media, those close to Wells say they are waiting for the facts. Trayston Shepard, a friend of Wells, said in an ABC interview, I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the facts show that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The facts is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I am just waiting patiently to see before I think anything else. I just know I lost my best friend.
yeah, well, they
So
all.
that's
Yeah, it's like I said. I'm not going to. We've always had the short end of the stick, even when it comes to news and all that. And when something like that happens, they always try to cover up. So I'm not gonna trip on that.
you had to use his
Can't do
piece
it.
of force to find out it was him.
Yeah,
And there was no
and
water. No water in his lungs is also a red
that's
flag
what
as
they're
well,
saying. Yeah, that's what they're saying. There's no water in the lungs, so
which
we
makes
know he didn't
absolutely no
drown.
sense. So
So
obviously he did
that
not
is.
drown.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Up in Smoke by Cheech and Chong. I remember that.
Yeah, we were talking about the old movies back in the day that I used to watch coming up, and some of them they were, talking about their famous movies. And I remember, like, I was telling them, like, I go back to the real McCoys and Lassie and all that good stuff. Yeah,
I
Lone
remember.
Ranger when it
Yeah, I
was in
remember the
black and
Lone
white.
Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Clay Tumore.
Eddie
Remember, he
Oakley.
really thought he was the Lone Ranger. Clay Tumore.
Well, he was. They like I said, they.
They shorted him out of so much royalty.
Yeah,
I remember that too, and he was upset. It was Clay Tumore and Jay Silverheels who played Tonto, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right, Red Wings hockey, you get some rest, young man. I'm going to after this. I tell you what, it took a lot to go through all that and to find out that Misunderstood had taken care of it. Well, that's how that happened. Yeah, they always have to clean up our mess, don't they, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word.
Well, I'm
I'm
glad.
not even going to talk about that, but shoot.
I tell you. But you know what? I'm gonna. Yeah, it's. Oh my goodness! It's almost 1:00. I need to get some shots.
Yeah, 1:00.
Yes. Yeah, you're an hour behind me, if I'm not.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
9 p.m. where Jackson is. It's just 9 o'clock where Jackson is. So yeah, there's a time difference, and I hear a lot of people complain about people being up on YouTube all night long, but they forget about the time zone and the time differences and the hours that people are on here. And then we got a lot of replays too. So, and that's why I can't understand why people get on there and how about they seen something or heard something, but they don't know about it. Well, do the replay first, and then you can come back with it. You know, do the replay. It doesn't hurt the replay.
No.
We can't keep up with everything unless we got maybe 10 monitors in our house or 10 computers or phones. And we can't listen to all 10 programs at the same time either. So,
yeah, that's one hell of an internet bill.
Yeah.
I shell out enough. No thanks. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Carruthers,
Oh, you're welcome,
I'd like
Uncle.
to thank 2300 Jackson Street and Red Wings Hockey, the couple.
Oh boy.
I would also like to thank Stomp Down and thank you for your patience and thank you for your grace on that. I'd like to thank HLIC Room Shaker as well.
Yes,
The queen before you react. I don't want to miss anybody, ladies and gentlemen. And if I did, it was just my craziness and not my heart, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I want to thank my wonderful adversary at times, the great misunderstood.
Yes, you guys. You guys have a nice, blessed,
And Dr.
wonderful
Sophie,
night.
of course, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
dog. Yep, Dr. Soapy was here.
Yes, and he was here for quite some time, too.
Yeah. To all you guys, even though it's in the clouds, even if you're in the clouds, just hit the thumbs up button. It don't matter.
And once again, thank you, Mr. Carruthers.
Oh, you're welcome, Uncle Claude. I will see you on the streets again. And hey, give Mama Bolden a kiss for me, will you? I seen her the last video. So
all right, husband and wife.
She's really beginning to be, she's growing on she's always been on my heart, but she's grown even more. And I like when she says, goodbye, YouTube.
Yeah, she's the best. I am very blessed to be able to take care of that young lady. She's very special.
A sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. Yeah.
I am very blessed.
Yeah.
Very
and
blessed.
I can see the joy. I can see the joy you get when you're talking to her and having her talk to the people on YouTube. But doggone it, you quit picking on my baby about that Tubi movies now.
I tell you, she watches that I tell you, she is. Oh boy, I tell you, she's what do they? Well, back in the day, they said she's a real pistol, huh?
Yeah, she's a real.
No, I definitely.
It's like, boy used to say, sure hard to handle, y'all. Yes, she is.
Well, he's trying to sound like Bay West, but I'm not touching that. Oh, those in the clouds. Those in the bushes. Uncle Claude signing out.
All right, Uncle Claude. Later.
Righty. Take care. All right. Take care, everybody. Stay safe and God bless. And my condolences to the family of Nolan Wells. And if I find out anything more, I will definitely come back on again and I will give you the latest. Take care, everybody.